One of the largest altcoin and Ethereum catalysts just got revealed. We are going to be talking about it. We're going to be addressing it. Welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. As we look at the overall market, not much has changed. We were expecting chop, and that's exactly what we are getting right now. Bitcoin is still chopping and ranging between $64,000 to like $66,000. We are waiting for something to happen on this chart. We have been watching it closely. We have been reporting on it, obviously, as you guys have been watching. In the 24-hour span, there is some altcoins breaking out, and to simply put this into perspective on why we're starting to see altcoins moving, well, it's because although Bitcoin might be chopping now, guess what? Bitcoin dominance is dropping. We're going to be talking about that. Over here, we have the top 500 coins, 24-hour span, top gainers and losers. We could see some great gains across the board. We have CRV Curve, also Convex Finance. Like, these are two of the biggest ones so far. There's a few other ones within here, like Ethereum Name Service. It's some pretty good gains. Listen, these are some major bounce backs. Remember, like, these are not massive gains or anything, because you got to remember, like, a lot of these projects, for an example, just like the top one here, if you look back at the 1 month, it's basically making up what it just lost from the 17th into the 18th. If we look at the 1 year, we're not even close yet to the March highs. So that's why we're starting to see these altcoins breaking out a little bit and starting to become top gainers. It's basically because they're trying to make up for what they lost recently. Now, as we do look at Bitcoin, we're going to be addressing it. But what is one thing that I've been talking to you guys about when it comes to altcoins, specifically alt season? Alt season does not happen until like the last 20% of the market. And when I say that, I'm talking about the bull market, right? So just for reference, 80% of this market that we're in, aka the bull market, it's all reliant on what Bitcoin's doing. But then that last 20% where all of the gains are made, that's when altcoins go crazy. We are very close to the ending point of the cycle. We're just getting started right now, but we're waiting for that last 20%. And I do think that we're getting closer and closer every single day. There's still some more, to get through in terms of the market to get to alt season, but we are getting close. Now, if we actually look at that, this is what I'm addressing, right? 80% of the market is like 40% Bitcoin, 40% Ethereum, and then the last 20% is the alt season, large caps, alt season. That's when things get pretty interesting. Right now, we're just focused on what's going to be the catalyst for Ethereum to really outperform Bitcoin. And we hear the talks of the flippening, and basically Ethereum is stealing the show. Well, a lot of people have been saying like, oh, it's going to be the ETF. I strongly believe that it's going to be the ETF. I've talked about this in the past. Although a Bitcoin ETF was big, I think that an Ethereum ETF is even bigger. You got to remember, although Bitcoin's great for, Bitcoin maxis or so, I don't really care about Bitcoin. I've talked to you guys about why. Although Bitcoin is the number one project here, there's not a lot of substance behind Bitcoin. Like, when it comes to Ethereum, go over here to Ethereum and just take a look at how massive Ethereum has been since its inception, but then also look behind Ethereum and how big Ethereum actually is when you actually look at all the projects behind this, and then also DeFi behind Ethereum. Ethereum has paved the way for a lot of projects in this space. I mean, even if you go look at how many ERC20 tokens are out there that are actually providing value to the market, I'm not talking about meme coins. There's so many of them. So as we really look at that, right, it's bullish for Ethereum because it's technically also bullish for the entire Ethereum ecosystem, which is a ton of altcoins. So when we look at Ethereum and an Ethereum ETF, it is way more bullish than Bitcoin, in my opinion. But outside of that, yes, I do think that we're getting close to that phase 2. The alt season time bomb is ticking, and now is the best time to go and get your free access to 30 secret crypto gems that I personally have researched completely for you so that you can save a ton of time and make a ton of money. The link down in the description below takes you guys to this page where you can claim your free access instantly right now, free of charge. It's completely free. So what are you doing? What are you waiting for? Go and click the link down in the description below, as well as in the comments below, to get access now. We're going to be addressing that. Here we have Bitcoin again. As I've said, just a chop fest. One of the big things that I will say, right, is that yesterday we had this nasty move to the downside of 64.6K. Then today, or yesterday, Tuesday, we had this move back down to 64K. Again, we're right in my demand zone. I'm totally fine with us trailing down here as long as we begin to make higher highs and we want to make higher lows. So I would like for us to maintain a bullish structure, but we don't know what's going to happen next yet. We're still watching this closely because we could continue to bleed out. What we want to actually see is a floor start to form here. That way we can create a higher low structure, but also we could form support here. Again, there's not much that has changed on Bitcoin. I'm not extremely bearish or anything like that. I'm not worried or concerned. We're trading at $65,000, guys. There is no concern on my end. But outside of that, what we are waiting to see is this floor to form and then a big move above 65.5K, reclaim that. We might come back down, chop a little bit, and then get another move up here. Again, kind of the same pattern. Back down to, support or resistance in this sense. We will form support on resistance. And then from there, we kind of just go. And then we really kind of target $72,000 again. It's going to take some time, but I would argue that this should happen by the end of this month. By the end of this month, we should have a much larger move in the market. Now, why have I been talking about, all right, well, altcoins start to go a little crazy by the end of this month into the beginning of July? Well, it's because of what's been happening. Now, as we take a look at Bitcoin dominance, like I said, why are altcoins not going, down while Bitcoin chopped all the way down here to like $44,000 or $64,000? Well, it's because when we look at Bitcoin dominance, it's sitting at 55.44% after it ran up to almost 56.3%. And the structure on this is actually pretty bearish. This is on the daily. Overall, resistance around 56.3% has been holding strong, and we have been rejecting off of it. Now we want to see if we are going to lose this structure that we have been forming since roughly the end of May. That's where we kind of break down below this bottom trend line, and then we lose structure, and then it basically becomes bearish. Overall, we have this high over here. This was technically a lower high, but just recently we made a higher high going off of that middle structure. But regardless, we still have on the macro here a lower high being printed on this chart. Now we want to see lower lows printed on this chart, and that goes all the way back down to like roughly the January timeframe. We want to see 50% being lost. That is the overall goal here on Bitcoin dominance for altcoins to go absolutely crazy. And it does start with losing this structure. Overall, like I said, altcoins, they will bleed against Bitcoin until Bitcoin dominance sells off in a large way. And I do think that we're getting closer to that. Honestly, what I would love to see is Bitcoin start this breakout to the upside of $72,000 while Bitcoin dominance continues to break down. That will push altcoins significantly higher. Now, also talking about Bitcoin dominance, look at Ethereum dominance breaking out of this wedge that we've had on this chart for a little bit of time. This is going off of the 18.17% resistance zone and going off of this upward trend line going all the way back to the middle of May. And now we are having a breakout above this. We broke out of 18.17%, and now we are retesting this major resistance zone from May. This is like the middle of May or the end of May, and this is 18.72%. This is also a significant area because once we do break this, I do believe that we are going to retest the February highs around 19.36%. This could very well set the tone for Ethereum to take over into phase 2. Now, even as we do look at the Bitcoin pair for Ethereum, this has found a floor around roughly 0.05, almost 2 sats, and this is a core area of support even going back to like middle of February, and it's resistance that we have now turned into support as well, which is a very good sign. We want to see a retest of this upper trend line and ultimately a breakout. Now we'll probably break out of this, retest the trend line, and then get that big move to the upside. Again, all showing you signs that Ethereum is about to take over. Also, in terms of others dominance, this is altcoin dominance outside of the top 10. Altcoins have been kind of bleeding out because of dominance. Now that Ethereum is kind of stealing the show, and I say kind of because it's not exactly there yet, so don't get too ahead of yourselves. We are now starting to see this kind of trailing down here. We are waiting for this to actually have an impulsive move to the upside. I do believe that that should happen pretty quick. Again, we are expecting this to happen over the course of the next couple weeks, probably next week or the week after. That's what we have been waiting for. And again, that is still the beginning of July. Now, talking about that, guess what we just got today? It's one of the biggest catalysts for Ethereum and altcoins. Here we have, there is a major catalyst for Ethereum and altcoins. Now we look for the possible ETH ETF announcement. It's all a rigged game that you must learn to play. Congratulations on surviving the capitulation. And here we have from consensus, Ethereum survives the SEC. Today, we're happy to announce a major win for Ethereum developers, technology providers, and industry participants. The enforcement division of the SEC has notified us that it is closing its investigation into Ethereum 2.0. This means that the SEC will not bring charges alleging that sales of ETH are securities transactions. The decision follows a letter that we sent on June 7th asking the SEC to confirm that the May ETH ETF approvals, which were premised on ETH being a commodity, meant the agency would close its Ethereum 2.0 investigation. The closing of the Ethereum investigation is momentous, but it's not a cure-all for the many blockchain developers, technology providers, and industry participants who have suffered under SEC's unlawful and aggressive crypto enforcement regime. Our fight continues in our lawsuit. We also seek a declaration that offering the user interface software, MetaMask swaps, and staking does not violate the securities laws. It should not take a lawsuit to provide the much needed regulatory clarity to allow all or an industry that serves as the backbone to countless new technologies and innovations to thrive. But here we are. Now, again, this is huge. I've talked about it many times. This is most likely going to really set the pace for, guess what? An ETH ETF. And we already know that Gary Gensler himself said that Ether ETFs should be fully approved by September. Outside of this, we also got from a Bloomberg analyst. This is Eric Balchunas. I hope I'm saying that last name correctly. This is also the individual that was predicting a lot of the moves being made around the Bitcoin ETF, and he was pretty much spot on. We have a spot Ethereum ETF may begin trading by July 2nd. If this does happen, then my timeline is 100% accurate, and we will have altcoins steal the show from July 2nd onward. This is why I say focus on the moves being made behind the scenes. Outside of this, though, we have over here, makes sense. What I heard, issuers still waiting to get comments from CorpFin on S1s, which they handed in 2 weeks ago. CorpFin is just looking at these docs for the first time. Why? Because of the highly likely political last minute 180. Remember, they were as surprised by this as anyone else. Unclear if they're prioritizing this work, but either way, we could be a bit. May need to push back my July 4th, but we'll see. Now, again, he's talking about his prediction regarding July 4th is when these ETFs will begin trading. He did talk a little bit about July 2nd. Over here, we actually have update. We are moving up our over-under date for the launch of spot Ether ETFs to July 2nd. Hearing the staff sent issuers comments on S1s today, and they're pretty light, nothing major, asking for them back in a week. Decent chance they work to declare them effective the next week and get it off the plate before holiday weekend. Anything possible, but this is our best guess as of now. Note our previous over under was July 4th, so this isn't a major shift, but one, we started to feel like it would take longer, so this is kind of good news, and B, we basically decide the over under on where our most torn 50-50 on where to bet, and July 2nd is that date right now. So anywhere between July 1st to the July 4th timeframe, guys, pay attention to this, because this could very well set ablaze altcoins to go crazy. And as we really look at Bitcoin dominance, while Bitcoin looks ready to have a breakout here, again, we are watching this closely. We're waiting for this level to really kind of hold and maintain for Bitcoin, a floor to form, and then, an upper move. Again, this is something that happens many times in the past. I mean, you have this, major sell-off, right? And then you have a floor form, and then you get that big impulsive move to the upside, back test, and then a much larger expansion. That's what we're waiting on right now. But overall, the number one thing to take from these videos, the number one thing that I really want to stress to you guys is, as we look at, XRP or XLM or Hbar or QNT or Cspr or any of these projects, right? The number one thing to take from this is, yes, they will have their day. Yes, they will have their bullish movement to the upside. It sucks waiting, but guys, we are so used to waiting around for altcoins to go crazy, because if you have been around for multiple cycles, then you know that this is normal price action. When we look at something like XRP, right? Just to give you guys a quick rundown of XRP. Here we have XRP. It was just recently in our demand zone. We had roughly, and if we actually look at this is why I always say, don't take these opportunities for granted. We've had roughly 7 days, 1 week, almost, a week and a day to accumulate well under this 49 to like almost 45 cent zone. Again, we didn't really hit the 45 cent zone, but we had a lot of time here. Now, as we look at XRP, and specifically, I want to go to the daily on this thing, this is what the daily looks like. And although, yeah, a lot of people are saying like, what is XRP doing? Oh yeah, that's right. It's doing absolutely nothing. Like, I'm tired of holding this thing. It's, sickening. That's pretty much the consensus on everyone's plate right now. But a lot of altcoins are in a similar position where it's just waiting for a big move to the upside against Bitcoin. This is the weekly chart for the XRP Bitcoin pair, and it looks as though it's gaining some momentum here, and we're just waiting to see if we are going to get a big impulsive move like we saw back in January of 2021 into February of 2021 as well. I do think that we're getting close to that point. I believe that we are at that December 2020 timeframe where altcoins look absolutely bloodied against their Bitcoin pairs. And I always share this because even if we go to the 1 day and we really go back to 2020, 2020 into 2021. Here we have, Ethereum. Here we have November into the January timeframe. Now remember, during December, we had Ethereum go pretty crazy, but look at this Bitcoin pair for XRP. I mean, this thing was just dead in the water until it started to wake up. But even if we go and just look at the Ethereum Bitcoin pair as well, I mean, if we actually zoom out and we go all the way back, I actually want to go all the way back to 2020 into 2021. And I have been charting this for a little bit of time. Now I have been charting it more so on the weekly here. Let's go all the way back to 2020 into 2021. This is what the Ethereum Bitcoin pair look like. Now, do you notice something very interesting here? Let's go back to where we are at right now. This is what the ETH Bitcoin pair looks like currently. Again, this is what it looked like as well. We have this massive downtrend. It's bleeding out, and it's basically all signs of alt season dead. Nobody cares about altcoins. And then guess what? Boom, started its massive breakout, and then it had a massive move in April into May, taking all of the altcoins with it. That's why as we look at Ethereum right now and we see all of these narratives now coming up about this. One, the lawsuit's basically over. Ethereum is good. Now we have the Ether ETFs. It seems as though everything is aligning perfectly for alt season. And this is why I say, don't get shaken out. It's all a rigged game and you must learn to play. Congratulations on surviving the capitulation, because I do think that from here, the market is going to erupt in a very large way. Let's watch, wait and see. But for the most part, I am dead set on alt season starting very, very soon. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.